lesson number 7. In this lesson, I'm going to tell you the names of your strings. Now, the strings on a prime, brach, cello, and bass are all the same. Gaudias will be different. Okay? Now, in the Tamburitza world, your instrument can either be tuned to a G or a D. So, the difference is the first string on your prime or your brach will either be a G, or the first string will either be a D. So, the cellos and the bass will always have the same setup. So first of all, in this video I'm using a G-tuned instrument. So for the prime, brach, cello, and bass, with a G-tuned instrument, and the way you find this out is you're going to have to ask the maker of your instrument, or wherever you bought it from, what your first string is. And then that'll determine how it's tuned. Okay, the first 4 strings in order are G, D, A, E. And this corresponds to the neck of your instrument. Okay? Now in this instrument, I have a double first string. Okay, let's look at this. Double first string. What does that mean? See how closely spaced these 2 strings are? It's the same string, it's just a double string. So my G is doubled. And your first string is always the farthest string from you. So as it's towards the bottom of your instrument, that's your first string. And you work your way towards your face, okay? So my first string on this instrument is G, second string is D, third string is A, and fourth string is E. We're always going to refer to them as fourth string, third string, second string, first string. And remember, when I say first string, you play both strings. It's a double string. Now your instrument might have a double second string. It may not. It's an option of the maker of the instrument. So just be aware that there's differences in instruments, and they're all not made the same. Okay? So now you know the names of your strings. G, first string, D, second string, A, third string, and E, fourth string. This is for a G-tuned brach or prime. And all basses and cellos are G-tuned. So they will always have these 4 strings. Now, if your first string on your instrument is tuned to D, it would be D, A, E, and B. So, actually, if you look at these 2 setups here, what's happening is your instruments are just starting here. See that? And it's following the same order. So, that's the only difference in a G-tuned and a D-tuned. Everything else in this instruction manual will follow. You just have to be aware that if your instrument is tuned to D, that your first string is D. Okay? But here we're talking about, I'm using a G brach, so we'll be using G instruments all throughout here. Okay. Now I'd like to show you something about how to grab the frets and how we're going to number these frets. Okay, to make it easier for you to understand what I'm talking about, we're going to refer to fret numbers. And I told you the metal strips on the instruments were called frets. That's correct. But the fret numbers are the area in between the metal frets. And how we number this is we start with the head of your instrument and we work our way towards your right hand, towards the body of the instrument, okay? Now, if the nut was ground 0, the area between the nut and that fret right here would be the first fret, because we're numbering the frets. So this would be fret number 1. Now this would be fret number 2, fret number 3, fret number 4, fret number 5, fret number 6, fret number 7, fret number 8. So the area between the frets are the fret numbers. And remember, when you're playing with your left hand, you press straight down. Remember to have your hand in the correct position, and you do not touch the metal strips with your fingers. You always play directly in the middle, because that's where your best sound comes from. So look, here's how to do it, here's how not to do it. Hear the difference? How to do it, not to do it. So, now, if we were playing our second string or our third string or our fourth string, we're still going to refer to them as fret number 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5, or 6, or whatever, but we refer to it as a D string or the A string. I'll say, okay, we're on the D string. Let's go to fret number 1. Fret number 2, fret number 3, fret number 4, fret number 5, 6, 7, and so on and so forth. And that's how you'll know what we're talking about through this video when I want you to play a fret, okay? Now that's going to be it for lesson number 7. I want you to be aware that your strings are G, D, A, and E, and it's the same for the frame, brush, cello, and bass, and they'll all have the same finger positions. Now the bass will read off a different staff, a different clef on the staff, and I have included that in your handout, in the book that I wrote. So remember bass, you're reading off a different clef, but the frame, brush, and cello are all reading off the same clef, the G clef. But everybody's finger positions are the same. They all have the same strings. So, well, we'll end lesson 7 right here, and I'll see you in lesson number 8.